session of Kaavya Dhaara at HLF this year. I think it's very fitting that we are opening it with a poetry reading rather than a discussion, because I think you only know poetry when you hear it, not talk about it. Very pleased to have 4 poets here who will be reading in different languages, including English, of course. Very grateful to all of them for having traveled and graced HLF with their presence. Jhilam is, of course, Hyderabadi, but everybody else is from other places. So I'm going to allow the moderator to introduce the poets and ask them to come up here and read.
Okay. Good afternoon. Namaskar. Adab. I'm honored and privileged to read amongst all of you at the 16th Hyderabad Literary Festival. Thank you to all the directors. Thank you to Usha Raman ma'am for such an enthralling list of conversations, poetry, sessions. The language in focus this year is Kashmiri. And I was in Kashmir in 2024. And last year, as all of you know, we had the very unfortunate terror attack. But whenever I think of Kashmir, and I was in Pahalgam as well, when I think of Pahalgam, I can't help but think of the beauty and the serenity of the place. So this poem remembers the tragedy that happened in the month of April back then, but it also tells us to look for hope and beauty in times of terror and difficulties. I have taken some of my ideas from Kashmiri American poet Agha Shahid Ali, as well as Osip Mandelstam. And here it goes. It's titled, A Village Slowly Rising from Ash. Power is hideous, like a barber's hands. I quote this from Agha Shahid Ali's The Country Without a Post Office. I return to Pahalgam in Mandelstam's velvet void, a skinless, formless, macabre noon, cradling soft bones of finite men. Yet I wonder about the space between the pines. It rains. Gun lights chase heinous heads. Mothers, wives, daughters swirl in bloodstorms. Only the hind hooves remain, praying for peace in carmine hearts. Children float on water, etch tales of truth and terror. Yet I listen to the melting mountains. Son after son will be taken. Who knows if they will return? Vanished blackbirds, cleft stars, a shadow's thirst for ceaseless rumors. Yet I keep dreaming of rippling litter, of a village slowly rising from ash. Thank you. From the valleys of Kashmir, I come to Hyderabad, the hills of Hyderabad, the rocks of our city, which are vanishing day by day. And if you know, just a few kilometers away from Hyderabad, there's a beautiful fort called the Rachakonda Fort. And the first time I visited the place, I was completely mesmerized by the stones and the boulders. And I wrote a ghazal, so an English ghazal. I've tried to follow the rules of traditional ghazal as much as possible, but please pardon me if I have failed. You will find the matla, the kafia, the radif, the refrain. And here it goes. Anybody who's been to Rachakonda? Who's seen it? Oh yeah, a few people. And those of you who haven't, please, it's a great place to trek. And you know, you can spend the day there. If you love the rocks and nature, you'll have a wonderful time. You can imagine Rachakonda through my poem now. I behold jewels, unpolished scriptures of time. Rock trail green rises beyond the rupture of time. Lavender-stained Kohinoors, the real Kohinoors of Hyderabad, the rocks. Lavender-stained Kohinoors clean the city's lungs. Rachakonda saves air in a pitcher of time. Old, older than the Bahamanis. Mean black birds call the cursed woman the last disruptor of time. There is beauty, detached and rare, when the sun sinks into a blur of rocks, the mother of time. Lintels, pillars, reminders of Grecian blood. All powers lead to the grave, cruel hunger of time. I see verdure. I see cold, lavish breaking, bruised boulders, silence blasted to powder of time. Rock-town villas rise from remains of the gravel. The flood is coming, a telling anger of time. Earth's future is desolation's geography. Perhaps Jhilam is the only water of time. Thank you. I will end it on a personal note. So last year, whenever I used to speak with my father, he used to call me early in the morning, around 8 o'clock. And I used to stand in the balcony and speak to him. And every time I used to, talk to him, I could see a certain flight crossing the sky. And one day I told him, Baba, there's some connection I feel. Because whenever I talk to you, this certain flight, it appears. And it so happened that after a month, my father passed away. So, he was suffering from an illness. But, so that image of the flight and this, this sort of mystical connection, it led me to write this poem, which was recently published by Porch Lit Review, an Indonesian-based poetry journal. You can look it up. It's a really good journal. This poem is titled Sky Fish. Each day, at the 8th hour, a silver fish glides across the sky. I sip tea, wait for the ritual of crossing. A soundless star, its dazzling sun smile, unaware of the cool fancy of a fat-bellied voyager, of urban speedlings flying over blurred borders. Yet all through my vague mornings, I pause as if it were my father, a floating worm, a twinkling dot, fallen from God's hand, sending pearly radiance to a lonely daughter. Helpless, I see him drink from lightless lakes, his misty mind slowly fading into Stygian spheres. Thank you, everyone. It was an honor reading before you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks a lot to the curators of HLF, especially Usha Raman ma'am, for having me here. I'm delighted to be here in front of you all to read my poems. Somebody told me that you need not to explain your poems, so I would dive into my poems straight away. My first poem is Muffled Voices. She learned early on how to fold her leg properly while sitting, how to fold the dupatta to hide her bosom, how to fold her clothes, and how to fold herself smaller. She learned early on how to tuck bed sheets, how to tuck laughter behind her teeth. She learned early on how to make her dreams and aspirations quiet so they wouldn't unsettle the men in the room. They gave her rules like heirlooms, heavy, unquestioned. Be good, be silent, be grateful, be a good girl, be a good mother, be a good wife. They never asked if the weight of being good bent her spine. Her body was never her own. First a battlefield, then a bargaining ship. Eyes measured, hands decided, laws debated her existence and autonomy. She watched her mother disappear between duties and dishes. She watched her grandmother call suffering as fate. As if pain were a tradition just for women to be passed down with recipes and scars. When she screamed, they called it hysteria. When she wept, they called it weakness. When she rose, they called it rebellion. And when she endured, they called it normal. Even the sky felt closer than freedom. Even silence felt safer than the truth. Still she breathes. Still she breathes. Still she remembers who she was before the world told her she was too much, too loud, too opinionated, and never enough. So tell me how many women must be broken before the cracks in the system are finally called violence and not tradition? And when daughters learn to whisper before they learn to speak, shall we still ask why they sound like echoes instead of voices? Tell me, would you? So that was my first poem. My second poem is called When Did You Feel Married? This is for all my married women on the stage as well as my friends off the stage. So there's a question for you all. When did you feel married? Was it the Shad Park? Just give me 2 minutes. So Shad Park is the Sat Feras in Bengali tradition, and Shubho Drishti is the first time when the bride, get a glimpse of the groom. So when did you feel married? Was it the Shad Park and the Shubho Drishti in the marrow of that midnight amidst a jugalbandi of conch shells and ulutation? When you felt churning in the back of your throat you could not name? When did you feel married? Was it the moment when Sindoor carved a lane on your head and there was a swarm of celebration through the aberration? When flowers poured in like rain streaks and your heart pounded with joy and squeak? And the gachkoto is the vermilion pot in a Bengali wedding, saturated the redness of your blush? When did you feel married? Was it the moment you left your home in a car that was not yours, overdecked with flowers, perhaps to camouflage the mess within? Your loved ones, sniveling like little babies, your father's fogged glasses, your mother's deluge of tears, while wiping yours, and your sister sneered, "Makeup will drain out, Didi," while wiping the parallel lanes on her cheek. When did you feel married? Was it the first time you entered his home to unknown faces, the touch of newness engulfing your lungs, the air impregnated with verbal tirades? You crouched like a sullen child, nodding your head in affirmation to everything they said, and the air spat apprehension on your red veil? A premonition of winter's cloak, perhaps? When did you feel married? Was it the first night on a bed ornamented with Rajnigandha, his hands brushing yours while you stay still, muddled his hands, meandering like an indomitable stream through terrains you had long fenced? Was there a word called violated in the dictionary of a married woman? You wondered. This body, so close to surrender, wavered, your hands pulled the Rajnigandha strings, as if seeking help, but in futile. The rust nestling in the filigree of cataflux, stifling your moan. When did you feel married? When did you feel married? Was it the first time you visited your mother's home on Ashtamangala on the 8th day in a Bengali wedding? We visit our mother's home. So when did you feel married? Was it the first time you visited your mother's home on Ashtamangala? The unflinching thrill of going back to parents, siblings, grandma. Your home suddenly morphing into mother's home. And for the first time, you wondered, where is your home? When did you feel married? Thank you so very much.
I'm from Pune. And I have a friend of mine who's accompanied me right here. Swati is here. And I have a few friends from Hyderabad. And I look forward to making new friends here. So thank you very much for having me here, Usha and HLF. The topic is still and flowing. If you've seen two women chatting on the phone, it looks like they aren't doing much. But when two women are chatting on the phone, please do not disturb them. They talk recipes, but if you listen carefully, they are compiling a collection of kitchen stories. Traveling from grandmothers, aunties, chatty neighbors, the exploits of Badi Ilaichi, Sauf, the miracles of Lesun, Haldi, Adrak, the way Lal Mirch should and shouldn't be touched, adding zing to chai, kick to curries, tang in rasams, somras drizzles from twin tongues, smoky secrets, honeyed histories, stirred into insipid boredom. These women are not just talking on the phone, they are pickling stories for grandchildren. So when two women are chatting on the phone, please do not disturb them. Discussing lipsticks and sunscreens, they spill their youth. The college crush, the first kiss, the happily never after twist, heartbreaks dousing the fire within, sleepless nights before the wedding, escaping a life that promises nothing. They gather the guts to dive in again. Piece together a scattered past, bring laughter to where sorrow was, transforming old demons into peaceful doves. They need to let out everything said unsaid. So when two women are chatting on the phone, please do not disturb them. They talk about cramps. Yep. They talk about cramps and backaches. Pain connects all women. The pain of slammed doors, silent wars, bubbling battles, the belonging yet not owning, the knowing yet not showing. Love grows thorns, breaks hearts. They aren't complaining, no, they are just tossing their doubts, their fears, their scars, invoking their inner Buddha over the hmms and the has, perfecting the fine art of letting go, learning to hear themselves over noises they should have ignored long ago, emptying everything they hold and everything that holds them. So when two women are chatting on the phone, kindly do not disturb them. I will read a short poem in Marathi. This is a little experimental piece where very few words are used. And there's a question at the end of every line is asakasa. How come? And I think most of you will understand. Those who know Hindi will definitely understand. It's divided into 3 parts. Dev. देवासाठी देऊळ, देवळात प्रसाद, प्रसादात तूप, तुपात दूध, दुधात गाय, गाईत वासरू आणि वासराला दूध नाही. असं कसं? शरीर, शरीरात पेशी, पेशीत पूर्वज, पूर्वजात जात, जातीत आरक्षण, आरक्षणात भांडण, भांडणात रक्त आणि रक्ताला जात नाही. असं कसं? कविता, कवितेत जाणीव, जाणीवेत संताप, संतापात आग, आगीत इंधन, इंधनात लाकूड, लाकडात झाड आणि झाड कविता नाही. असं कसं? थँक्यू. I was tempted to read a Hindi one and I decided something else which was quite serious. But I think we are in spring, it's Vasant Panchami. Valentine's Day is around the corner, and I'm known for my naughty poems, so here it goes. लिखते लिखते रुक गई, बहुत मुश्किल है. पोएट से पूछिए, लिखते लिखते रुक जाना. तो लिखते लिखते रुक गई तो समझ गई कितने लिखते थे. परिंदे गीत हवाओं पर, भंवरे फूल पर लिखते थे. सतरंगी स्याही से लिखा आसमान पर बूंदों ने, और कड़ी धूप में चलते चलते साए लिखते दीवारों पे. मैं नादान लिख रही थी अपने कागज़ के पिंजरे में. मैं नादान अब लिख रही थी अपने कागज़ के पिंजरे में. लफ्ज़ों बगैर बेचैन होती, जिंदगी मानो थम ही जाती. अपना जी बहलाने को मैं कुछ तो लिखती, लिख के मिटाती. मैंने पिंजरा खोल दिया, मैंने पिंजरा खोल दिया, एक सांस में कविता लिख दी. उंगलियों से उसकी जुल्फों में प्यार की दास्तां लिख दी. इंतज़ार में यादें लिखी और यादों में ख्वाब लिखा. गौर से सुनिए, आपके काम आएगा. तो इंतज़ार में यादें लिखी और यादों में एक ख्वाब लिखा, और ख्वाब में उसके बदन पर होठों से कुछ खास लिखा. लिखना तब सीखा मैंने जब कलम से ही जुदा हुई. लिखना तब सीखा जब कलम से ही जुदा हुई, और गौर से सुनने लगी ना लिखने वाले क्या क्या लिखते थे. तो ये कविता उन सब ना लिखने वालों के लिए जो यहाँ है. The cities are spreading into each other, and this one is from the ladies compartment of the Mumbai local. तो होता क्या है? ऐसे होता है कि जब आप छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज टर्मिनस, which was the VT terminal, छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज टर्मिनस से गोरेगांव जाने वाली 12 डिब्बे की धीमी लोकल 6:48 पर प्लेटफॉर्म नंबर 2 से रवाना होगी. In the ladies' compartment of the Mumbai local, the burqa-clad woman drowned in her phone, the Sikhni reciting hymns, the fisherwoman with a shiny nose pin, the girl with a cross tattooed on her skin, are all extensions of me. We form a ladies' monster. Our shiny clips, good luck rings, our hair tickling, smacking our faces, our perfumes, one heavy scent of love, duties, responsibilities, looking forward to coffee with a friend, dinner with a lover, confronting a boss, meeting parents. Our lipsticks, our eyebrows, our skin tone, our hair, our hearts, our silences, all speak one mother tongue. No brands, no tags, no status, no religion. We don't hide our underarms and cellulite. Sweaty love handles speak boldly as faces gather more frown lines. We talk We talk about failed marriages and miscarriages, stock market hullabaloo, misleading national policies, absolutely no taboos. We share recipes and therapists. We forget names. We remember faces, hang in doorways, dropping defenses, scrolling live between homes and offices, scrolling towers, scrolling slums, scrolling earth, scrolling heavens, beat after beat, thundering feet, metal on metal, wheel on wheel. We talk loud, we laugh loud, we hum songs, we sit quiet, we become the rhythm, the order, the chaos. We become the silence, we become the noise. We are the multi-armed, multi-faced, multi-dimensional, invincible goddess. This coach is our shrine. You are welcome to come and pay your respects. Anytime. Thank you.
This poetry reading session of this globally renowned Hyderabad Literary Festival. I am reading these poems from my book of poems. The title of the poem is The Mystery of Beauty. A baby tender and cute just came out into the world, yet her eyes shut in limbs still in folded glory. The lovely master's gift still wrapped in unraveled mystery. Beauty's face yet to be shown in all radiance. But how strange the priest of beauty come fluttering all around, buzzing, passionate praise for beauty to step out in all her glory, just like devotees waiting in patience, chanting hymns before the curtain in a temple shrine for the darshan of the Lord. That is what the flowerbud visited by butterflies at the doorstep of our house presents to my eyes. The title of the next poem is Woman. Woman, not to wine in the cup of a drunkard, to not even a dish of meat on the dining table of a hungry man, not a ball on the playground to be kicked to the advantage of an ambitious player. Never be she a feeble fly or a tiny worm to be crushed at a sadist will. She is above and beyond the wretched perceptions. She is the primordial force of the universe. To realize her true nature, her immense power, man needs wisdom to outgrow his age-old hungers of flesh and blood. And attain vision to look beyond the body of woman. The next title of the next poem is The Beauty of Life. A plant shooting out of a tiny crevice of a ruined wall of a dilapidated house, flashing flowers of flaming yellow amidst ruins, greeting all beholders, declaring its presence, demonstrating persistence of life amidst many odds against adverse circumstances, singing in silence the rapturous lyric of the beauty of life, exposing the folly, ridiculing the ignorance of the man who failed to understand the value of life, committed suicide in the neighboring house. Title of the next poem is Metamorphosis of Love. Love between man and woman, an emotion sweet, a sentiment noble, makes a long journey in human's life, passing through many phases, assuming different forms, ultimately emerges out of metamorphosis into a thing of supreme beauty, polished, perfect, shiny, and glorious. Love in teens, just a larva, invisible, cocooned, yet pulsating with life, tiny and inactive. Love in youth, a caterpillar, emerging out of cocoon, ugly, hairy, crawling all over vigorously, gulping so greedily, heaps of raw grub, love in old age, a butterfly so colorful and beautiful, flying freely and joyously on its colorful wings. Feeding on nectar of blossoms, a celebration of wondrous beauty and bliss. Indeed, love is the beauty and glory of God's creation. Title of the poem is Family. Family that takes its roots not from swamp of I, an individual identity, but from solid soil of we, a collective identity fed carefully by waters of love, pure, selfless, nourished wisely by manures of aspirations, common, collective, and interest, well shared, sunlight of harmony, showering over pests of egos, selfishness, differences weeded out cautiously. Cautiously grows into a tree, mighty, magnificent, spreading all its branches to generations, bearing delicious fruits of eternal bliss and perennial peace. The title of the poem is Dreams. I wake up in the morning and see around me myriad dreams, sun peeping up from the east with a warm dream to flood the world with his radiance, birds leaving their nests with a sweet dream to fill the world with their melodies, streams, rivers flowing quietly with a dream to fulfill the needs of all creatures in the world, flowers blooming with a dream to enrich the world with beauty and fragrance, winds blowing gently with a dream to offer coolness and freshness, paddy fields waving in fields with a dream to yield a bumper calf, tree branches swaying with a dream to boon the world with delicious fruits, butterflies and bees flitting and buzzing. From one flower to another one with a dream to suck nectar. Hey, dreams, dreams, dreams everywhere, blooming, springing, overflowing, greeting, dreams, defining, guiding, shaping all lives around me. Why can't I possess and cherish a dream, grand and radiant, and enrich my life with meaning and beauty? The title of the poem is The Master Artist. Last night I saw no flowers in our garden. Now in the morning, on all plants, blossoms aplenty, yellow, green, blue, red, pink, white, violet, orange, a splash of rich hues gleaming from blooms. I wonder how our garden in the morning turns so colorful with such flowery wealth. Who is the painter that painted these flowers with such splendid colors? When did he come to our garden to do this wondrous painting? Maybe when we were all in deep sleep, the painter at night tiptoed into our garden with all his paints and brush. He sat in nightly quiet. Worked all through the night, sleeplessly and patiently, alone painting all these flowers using his wondrous paints and brush. Before the sun up, he finished his works and hurried home with what a marvelous spectacle of rich, colorful flowers he has left for our eyes to have a feast. Oh, master artist, my eyes can't catch you, yet I can behold the marvel of your art, the, that bears your signature. I can't but with the tears of infinite joy in my eyes sings of the glories of your supreme art. These are poems I have read from a book of poems. So this is my first experience to participate in reading poetry at this HLV. So if I make any mistakes, you may excuse me. Anyhow, I am very, very thankful to every one of you. Thank you very much for giving this, for having given this golden opportunity to read before you my poems and share my poems with all of you. Thank you once again. Especially I am very grateful to Professor Usha Raman, who helped me a lot in getting this opportunity. Thank you, madam.